to the Easy and BzarBebo Metroid Dread review. So I got a couple topics that I wanted us to discuss. But first, let's start with the first thing on our list is opening remarks. So, any opening remarks that you have about Dread, Bebo?
I think overall I liked it, but compared to the Metroids in general, I think it was underwhelming.
And why do you say that?
Uh, I mean, I don't know how you want to go about this, like topics wise, but I my main biggest problems with Dread. Hello, oh, thank you for the subscription, Allie. Thank you, I appreciate it. Subscribe for 8 months. You guys are my biggest fans.
Woo!
Okay, so I have
Hold on.
two main problems.
Let me put my headphones on.
One,
Make sure I don't get
okay,
feedback. Okay, two main points. Lay them on me.
two, I have two main problems. The
Oh,
first
my problems.
problem is the Emmys are not scary.
What?
The Emmys are not scary to me.
Okay. So you're telling me that you didn't have a single moment of anxiety while you were trying to escape from the Emmys?
Okay, I did, but not in a good sense. The dread I got was like, if I get caught, I'm gonna get one shotted. Oh boy, I'm like, it's not like an SAX where like, oh my goodness, this is a stronger life force than I am, and I need to stay away from it. It's if I get caught by this, I'm gonna be one shotted, and that's not fun. Like even the SAX doesn't one shot you.
Hi, Ali. Thank you. Yeah, I feel it. So then let's talk about that. Your opinions of the Emmys. Go.
I eh,
Yeah.
they did nothing. Like you start right off the bat, you meet an Emmy and you kill it right away. So starting off the gate, they're not setting up the Emmys to be like this strong force, um, which is disappointing to me. Like I think they should have started out with like a really strong one, and you had to run away from it. Like starting out with a strong one and you killing it right away, it's like well, it was kind of like a weak one, but you kill it right away. It was like okay, well I guess these things aren't going to be a problem because I just killed in one hit.
I agree with you completely because I always look forward to the first kind of upgrade or item you get, and the first item you get is the Omega Cannon. So as soon as you get it, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then you're right, you kill the Emmy, and it goes away, and you're left with like a, what the heck? What just
Yeah,
happened? Yeah,
it's like this the setup, like there's no setup and payoff. It's like okay, here's the Emmys, you can one shot them. So every Emmy you come across, you one shot, and it's like, so why am I scared of these things? I
I
think
get.
the Omega, I think every Emmy should have been its own boss fight, and and they gradually get harder.
I mean, you don't think they gradually got harder?
They did like they gradually got more pain in the butt to run from,
Yeah.
but I think they should have been their own boss fight. And that kind of gets me into my second problem with the game.
Okay.
Way too much repetition.
What do you mean?
Okay. So there's way too many of the same bosses. You have to fight the Emmys, they're all the same. You have to fight the Krozo guard like 5 times, 4 times, the same. It gets a little stronger, but it's the same fight. Then you have to fight those two Krozo guards at once like 3 times. I'm like, why am I fighting the same bosses over and over and over? It should have the same. It should have different bosses. Every boss should have been different. I'm having the same bosses over and over is not fun. They should have been a little bit more creative.
Yeah. Okay. 1 second. Okay. Also, in my opinion, as someone who hasn't played a Metroid game previously, I feel like the controls were asinine and weren't like explained more. Like, give me 30 second tutorial maybe. That's what Ali says. Um.
I
So
disagree with Ali. I think the controls are probably the best in the series. Well, almost the best.
wait. I want to talk about controls, but let me go back to what you're saying about
Okay.
the enemies. I never had the inclination of, oh my gosh, I have to fight another one of these. Because I felt that although they were the same enemy, the environment changed, so your strategy also had to change.
I disagree. I think the strategy was the same every time.
Maybe with the two Chozo soldiers, but that main soldier guy, you're right. Like within 5 minutes, you have to fight the gold one, the silver one, and then another one. And you're right, it was the same thing. So yeah, I understand. Uh, but I don't think when the first time you fought it, it didn't turn into like the X version, and then the second and third and fourth time you fought it, it did. So that's kind of a variation on it.
Kind of, but like it's still the same boss.
Yeah,
Like to me, that's just lazy.
yeah,
Like Metroid, Super Metroid, Metroid Fusion, you're fighting completely different bosses from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. And that just makes it exciting. You don't know what you're gonna get next. Like, what am I gonna fight next? What am I gonna fight next? And this one is just like, okay, another one of these, I guess.
but it kind of did that in the. So it didn't do that in the boss setting, but it kind of did that in the just like the normal environment setting. Like the environment changed so frequently that the enemies changed frequently. Like you had the heat, then you had the cold, then you had the X, then you had such variation that I felt like there was a lot of variety in just a normal day to day bad guys.
Uh, I guess. To me, they didn't stand out that much, but
Yeah.
maybe it was just me.
Okay, so my first impressions were I texted you that the fact that Samus said the word stuff. I think that's so out of character. She had so many other words to say. I know that's like nitpicking, but as someone who's like super into it, we waited 20 years for it. You're like, okay, this like every moment. If you had 20 years to perfect something, every moment should be crisp and fine tuned. And then to throw the word stuff in there, I was just like, what? What do you mean stuff? Anyways, I think the game really grew on me as I went forward. I was okay. It was okay, and then I think as soon as I fought the boss where you had to heat up the planet, I was like, okay, I'm into it. I mess with this game. So it grew on me. I didn't like it at first, but at the end, I was sad that it was over because I wanted to play more.
Yeah, I think it does get better as it goes on, but then like it then it ends, and you're like, okay, well, that's it, I guess.
Yeah, I yeah, we'll talk about the ending. All right, so
Spoilers. What are you doing in here, Slight? You haven't beat the game yet.
is he even playing the game?
He is playing the game, but I don't think he's very far.
Okay, well we're about to spoil stuff, so you better get out of here now if you don't want to spoil.
He says okay later.
All right, so story, go.
Okay, so I thought the beginning was pretty good. So one minor thing at the beginning, like you get to you land on the planet, and then you see Samus with like her powers gone, and then does like a tiny flashback, and then you go to the thing. Like that tiny flashback makes no sense. Why can't I just see that and then play as Samus? Like, why do I need to have that? Like, why can't I land on the planet, fight the guy, lose my powers, and then play? Like, why do I have to see Samus lying on the floor and then her having a flashback of something that just happened, and then I see that? Like, that part makes no sense to me.
I hadn't even thought of that, but now that you mention it, I completely agree.
So that like whatever. And then right off the bat, here's another thing I don't like about this. Like Super Metroid. Okay,
Okay.
one of the coolest bosses. You go down the door, and then that red dragon appears, and you just go, and it's like boom. You have to. It's a boss fight. Metroid Dread. A lot of the times, you go into the door, cutscene, boss fight. I just want to go into the door without expecting anything, and then boss fight. Like the cutscenes tell you, they telegraph way too much. Like, can't I just go in and fight a boss? Like, you don't need to tell me, okay, well, there's a cutscene. That means there's a boss right now. And I know, like, some of the doors, they have that, like, guard, which means you're going to fight a boss in the next
I
room.
was just about to say that.
But at the same time, like, going into it completely blind sometimes is also nice.
Yeah.
Like, Metroid Fusion also had the doors with, like, the eyeball, and you go in and there's a boss. Like, it's letting you know the next room has a boss.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. 1 second. So Ali says, going to the computer robot, I'm confused as to who that was. Maybe it was in a previous Metroid game. So that's something they didn't really touch on.
yeah, they didn't talk about it too much in this one.
And
Basically, for Ali, like the explanation, um, so Adam is a previous commanding officer that Samus used to work for. Uh, he sort of dies, but it's not like 100% confirmed he dies.
I mean, if you played other
I don't know. I think they still left it ambiguous, in my opinion. Like he could still be alive.
bro, it was an explosion of the whole ship. How is that ambiguous?
I don't know, man. Like I need to play it again.
Yeah, I think you did.
Anyways, he you start working for this computer in the previous game before Dread, and Samus is like, okay, this computer kind of reminds me of my commanding officer I used to work for. And then by the end of the game, the computer starts talking exactly like the commanding officer, and his name is Adam. So, and that's it. That's all the explanation you get. And then you go into this game, and there's no explanation further. So they're still just left at that. I don't know why, but
Well, because so other M came out after Fusion.
mm-hmm.
So so you go into Fusion, you're like, okay, Samus has this relationship with this robot. Who cares? Then other M comes out, and you find that they have like a father daughter relationship, and that he kind of trains her and is like a figure in her life. And then you're like, oh snap, okay, so that makes this so much more significant. But as a person who has been following the Metroid lore this whole time, you're like, okay, finally, we're about to get some more information about Adam and see exactly where this is going. And then none of that is addressed throughout the whole game.
In Dread,
Yeah.
yeah, nothing is explained about
Like
Adam at
it
all.
just says so like you mentioned the first thing it says any objections lady, so then you're like, oh yes, okay, we're about to get some some background and some continuation of the story, and then nothing.
Yeah,
Like no other mention of
like
Adam's characteristics, no other mention of where the robot comes from, and then the end happens, and you're like, what?
yeah, I still don't know if Adam is now programmed as the computer or if Adam is actually alive and he's behind the computer talking to her. Like that's up in the air to me. And like at the beginning of the game, it's Adam, either the real person or the computer person, who whatever. He is there at the beginning of Dread, and then at some point he's gone.
Okay, so that's a perfect segue from story to the end of the game. Where does that cutoff happen? Because a little part of me thinks that the only real Adam was in the ship.
I think as soon as she gets into the planet's core, there's a part at the beginning where like Adam is like communications are gonna get cut off. Um, find the communication thing and contact me.
Yeah.
And then I think that's it. I think the rest of the Adam is the
Is
fake is
Beak.
fake. Yeah, what's his name? Darth Beakus.
Ravenbeak. Ali says, "Mate, this might be a dumb question, but is there any confirmation that there'll be another Metroid game? Who knows?
I think there will be. I mean,
If
they
it
left it the cliffhanger again.
if it's successful,
I think in this day and age, the Switch is doing really good, and gaming is more broad spread than it has ever been. This is probably going to be the best selling Metroid. So I think there will definitely be another Metroid. How long it's going to be till that, who knows?
you know what's interesting about what you just said? It made me think. Like the previous Metroids, established this genre, right?
Hmm.
And then Metroid goes into like a hiatus, and then you got games like Hollow Knight. You got all these kind of games like this, right? And then when the real Metroid drops, those previous like off-brand Metroid games fuel the love and the want for this new Metroid game. Kind of this weird evolution cycle. So I hope you're right that people will play Dread and be like, "Oh, this reminds me of Hollow Knight," or "This reminds me of other
Yeah.
games," and they'll appreciate it for that type of thing.
Well, like that being said, like Hollow Knight is a $15 game, and that game is amazing.
So good, dude. So good. I love that
Metroid
game
Dread is $60, and it does not have the same amount of content Hollow Knight does.
for sure. For sure.
And like, here's the thing: Metroid Dread, I feel, is kind of dated. I don't know what dated. Like, it's behind the times on the Metroid style games. Like,
What do you mean?
there's so many Metroid type games, like you said, like Hollow Knight. There's the Ori games. There's Fist that just came out, and they all have like these amazing, huge areas to explore with awesome upgrades. Blah blah blah. Like Metroid, like there's not, like I said, there's not that much variety. It's short. Um,
Yeah, that's a very good point.
like it could have been so much more than what it is.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yep. Ali says it's
Yeah.
brand recognition. Yeah, so
Like
I agree. I would agree with you on all that. I think the ending was a little disappointing. I don't understand.
I like the end except for that X part.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
think if they
exactly.
left her as as a Metroid, that would have been an awesome ending.
I agree.
Like who knows what it could like she could go on to like conquer whatever, who knows. She could turn evil, she could.
For a second, I thought they were gonna kill her,
Who's going to kill her?
like the
The
game.
Federation?
No, well, that too, but because and see, that's the other thing. So she gets in the ship, and then the real Adam is like, "Don't touch that. You'll absorb the power and you'll blow up."
Was it Adam or was it her ship who said that?
I mean,
Because
what's the
her ship
difference?
her ship also talks.
But I mean, isn't it the same AI
I
that
don't
ship?
know. The voice is different.
Is it? I don't think so, man.
It's different. The voice is the Samus's ship has like a female voice, and the Adam's voice is more like robotic.
I gotta look into that again. So when it said that she couldn't put her hand on the controller, I was like, bro, are they about to just let her end? So that like kind of like the in Star Wars where like there needs to be balance to the force, and now that Samus is the last Metroid, all Metroids need to be extinct to bring balance to the galaxy.
Mm,
I thought they were gonna like pull something like that where she dies and now there's officially no way that the Metroid power could be overused.
yeah,
But then the X Parasite comes out of nowhere, and since when do X Parasites become good guys?
I had no idea. That made no sense to me.
So
Yeah, I
like,
don't know how like I forgot his name. The good Kozo guy,
Quiet Robe, dude, come on.
Quiet Robe. I've just been calling them like Darth Robus and Beakius. I don't know what how like yeah the X took his body and then he's good. Like that makes no sense.
Yeah, and in the previous games, it seemed like there was no significance in X color, but now like I don't know. It seemed like the red one that happened at the very end was like the bad one, and then the orange one was like okay. It's like where did this
There
coloration?
is there is colors in fusion, but they do different things when you absorb them. Like there's the orange that gives you health, green gives you ammo, and then the red gives you everything back. Like it gives you full health, full ammo.
Right. So at the very end, when the X parasite absorbs Ravenbeak and she kills it, it's red, or maybe it's purple. Forgot. But then
I think it was red.
when Quiet Robe, his X parasite comes out, it ends up being orange. So it's like I don't know if there's any significance to that
I don't know.
or
I
what.
don't. I don't. That's yeah. Except for that ending, like that part of the ending, I liked it. I really like the Metroid suit.
Me
I
too. Me
thought
too.
I thought the Ravenbeak being sort of like her dad, like I thought it was a little bit cliche.
Really,
Um, I don't know. It was kind of seemed forced. Like
really.
it wasn't terrible, but like th- since they didn't really do anything with it, so
I actually like that because growing up, you're like, how does this random chick use a Chozo soldier suit? And then at the end, it finds out that she has the Mahoha tribe and the Makin tribe DNA in her, and then it has that flashback where they're like injecting stuff in her, and then I'm like, okay, so they inject their DNA in her, and that allows her to use this suit, and that's why
mhm.
she's got this athletic prowess, and she can turn a morph ball, and now she's got yada yada yada. I was like, okay, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, but like we always knew the Crozo like raised her.
Raised her like I thought it was like adoptive parents, like they just found this random kid,
Yeah, that's what they
Like
did.
Lilo and Stitch type. But no, it seemed like they found her and did experiments on her and then turned her into what she is today. Because it had that
Yeah,
vial with her in it, so it's like they they need to go into more depth with that.
yeah.
Because how does she go from the Chozo raising her to the Federation in Other M? How do those storylines?
Well, she becomes a bounty hunter later, and then she works for the Federation.
Ali says so. She killed her dad. Talk about dad issues.
Uh,
All right, so we talked about the story. We talked about the end. Let's talk about controls. What do you think about the controls?
the controls to me are good. I think they're really fluid. The only part I don't like is I think like the power bomb. You have to like hold it down to use.
Yeah, I
I
didn't
thought
like
was
that either.
dumb. And this is kind of a small nitpick, but I hate it. The items just float to you magically. I want to be able to use my charge beam and then draw them in.
Nah, I'm cool with them being just absorbed to you.
Ugh, I hate it. It's so stupid.
I think it's weird that she can do both. It's like the first half of the game, you're killing everybody. You get, the power balls and the missiles. Next part of the game, you get these little green X parasites that you absorb and you get it. I was like,
I don't know. That's fine to me. Like, cause she used to do both anyways.
yeah. I just thought it was weird. The X parasite paradigm shift was kind of weird to me. Okay, but back to controls. I agree with you. I think the controls are awesome. The sliding mechanism was great, and I used it all the time. The L where you can aim, use that all the time. The shooting was smooth. The jumping was smooth. I have issues with every Metroid game where you know how you have to time the space jump to you press A when you're descending, not when
Mm-hmm.
you're because like I tend to want to press A at the peak of my ascend, but
Mm-hmm.
you have to descend a little bit before it allows you to do it, and so
Yeah.
I always have to like consciously wait for that. So I got used to that. I told you about the jumping mechanism. In Super Metroid, you could wall jump indefinitely by one wall, but on this one,
Yeah.
when you wall jump, it like literally almost 90 degrees you, so it's like you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it doesn't that's just how like the levels are made in this one. So
yeah,
like you don't really need to cheese it and to do that like Super Metroid, but
yeah, but still, it gives the player,
more freedom.
yeah, more freedom and like allows you to do more innovative moves.
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing that I had a beef about was edge grabs. That bothered me so much
Why?
because there are so many times where I grab the edge and I'm like, Samus, why can't you just use your beam over the edge? Like, I should be able to hang on an edge and shoot somebody right next to me. But when you hold on the edge, you have like, there's like a very small acute angle from behind you to like on top of you, but you can't shoot in front of you. Like
Hmm.
I would appreciate if she like lifted herself a little bit, allowed you to shoot and like duck down, because that would have been sick.
I think that would have been cool, but like I didn't remember a single time I needed to do. Like if I was on the edge, I just get up on the edge and shoot. Like
No, I needed it all the time, all the time,
when did you? Why? Why don't you just get on the ledge?
because the enemies move fast, and when I'm low on health, I gotta play conservatively. So if I just go on the edge, then I'm giving them the opportunity to come at me hard. But if I'm on the edge instead of jumping on top of the edge, I can kind of like bob and weave with whether I want to,
Why don't you just jump and then grab on the edge again?
So you're saying grab on the ledge, jump, shoot, grab on the ledge, jump, shoot? Nah, that's silly. Just allow me to pop up, shoot, and then pop back down.
Okay.
So that's how I felt on that. It was hard to play with Joy-Con drift, but for the most part, I got
Oh my god.
I got the deal.
Gotta get you a new controller.
Yeah, I dealt with it. Okay, let's quickly talk about items and abilities.
Okay. Um, I mean, I don't think there was anything new here. It was pretty much the same stuff. I thought the bomb ability with like the multiple bombs that was pointless.
I thought
Like
that
they could
was
have just given you.
I thought that was cool.
I thought they could have just given you Spider Ball and it would have done the same thing. Like you could
I really wanted Spider Ball in this
have. What else? I don't think there was anything new. I don't think there was a single new.
Well, for me there was because I didn't play the remake of Samus's Return. So that like ion zip thing,
Okay, the zip thing was new. That was completely new.
never seen that. I never
That was
seen.
nice. I like that move.
I love that move. The
The
cloak.
slide, the slide was new. The cloak I never used,
Yeah, I never used the cloak either.
so it was pointless. The I rather have a scan beam than the signal thing that shows you where everything
Me
is.
too. And dude, this is what I was telling you about Prime. I love that in Prime you can scan something and it'll tell you about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the scanning option, like the X-ray, it forces the player to notice things. Like in Super Metroid, when you have the X-ray vision, you have to actively do like a 360 to see if there's anything around. This one's kind of
Yeah.
like lazy. You just like emit these waves and then you're like, oh, okay, there's something right here. It's like,
Well, I just think games today, like they have to hand feed you stuff. Like
yeah,
people don't want to figure it out. Like the controls. Like look at Super Metroid. They don't tell you the controls. They teach it to you with the animals. Like that you see the bird go zzz, boom, jump up, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess I can do that. No, Dread has to be like, press the button and you can do the like, come on. Like there's no sense of like I discovered this myself.
yeah, yeah.
It has you have to be force fed everything nowadays.
And the thing, okay, so going off that, and I appreciate that in Super Metroid there are hidden abilities and hidden characteristics. Like when you have the charge beam and you go into a ball, you get the multiple bombs.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And then that super secret move where if you have low health and you do the charge
Mm-hmm.
beam with the power bomb, then she does that like
Yeah.
Super Saiyan recharge thing. No one taught us that in the game, but that's an awesome feature that you just gotta figure out.
Yep.
So I totally agree with that. There were moments where I got an ability and then literally 5 seconds later I got an ability that replaced it. And I'm like, this is so stupid. Why did they give me this? Like the double jump. Like I got the double jump and then literally 5 minutes later I got the space
Because of
jump.
the space.
And I
Yeah.
was like, why did I need the double jump?
Yeah, it was stupid. I agree.
And
It's like no point.
there was another thing. I think it was the bomb. Like you get the triple bomb and then a little bit later you get the power bomb. So it's like I'm never gonna use that. I'm just gonna power bomb and then destroy everything.
Yeah.
Um. So Ali says this should be called mustache review.
Ah, Mustache Brothers. The speaking of like the power bomb with the you have to like hold it down with the missiles and
Yeah.
shoot. Like I hated that. Just let me select the super missiles.
Wait, what? What do you mean?
So like the super missiles, don't you have to like charge that? Actually, the multiple like lock on things. That was one ability I like. That was new.
You don't have to charge the super missiles. It turns into super missiles automatically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking of like you have to charge the multiple things. Then
Yeah, you have to charge multiple things.
I do like that ability.
I wish they would have given you an upgrade for the Aeon thing. Because there were a lot of moments, especially with the zippity thing, the phase shifter or whatever it's called,
Mm-hmm.
that I would use it, land, and then need it like maybe half a second sooner than they would give it to me. And I just wish there was an
Gotcha.
upgrade that would let it charge faster, and I didn't get that. I was really
I
hoping for
think
that.
there should have been a lot of upgrades, a lot more.
Yeah,
But I wish there was a thing where you can like just unlock the Metroid suit and just use that the whole game.
yeah,
Like
that'd be sick.
I just love the way it looks. It looks so cool.
Yeah, it looks sick. What did you think about the grapple beam?
I love the grapple beam in this. The grapple beam is so good.
I thought it was
I love
cool.
I love grabbing on the walls. I love swinging. I love um
I thought swinging
doors and
was a
stuff.
little hard, but everything else was good. There's one point where you have to there was a block and then you have to swing over to another block
Mhm.
and like timing it. First you have to swing her and then timing it to let go and then get on the other one. That was a little bit hard, but maybe just because
Yeah, but it's always been kind of hard. Like in Super Metroid, it was kind of difficult too.
yeah. So yeah, the wave beam was cool. I like the diffusion beam. I think that's a cool concept.
I thought, oh yeah, the diffusion beam. I guess that was kind of new. I like that too.
Yeah,
We didn't. There's no plasma beam in this one.
no, there's not.
I thought so. There's a part where you fight one of the bosses, and
Yeah.
like the core X gets sucked into the lava. Like that was gone. Like they didn't do anything with that.
Or X got sucked in. Oh, you're talking about when you have
So
to heat up the planet?
so you fight one of the bosses near the end, and you know how like at the end of a boss, it turns into like this
Oh
floating
yeah,
circle,
yeah,
and then inside is the core you absorb.
yeah,
Well, got sucked into that lava,
yeah.
and that was it. And I was like, okay, well, this is gonna be important later. Someone will fall into the lava, suck up the X, and get like some kind of ability or something, or we have to go explore the lava and get it. But no, nothing happened with that.
Can we talk about that for a second? That boss was an X parasite, right? Or the X parasite absorbed that dead body because at the beginning you saw the robots like working on that body, right? Because
Yeah, yeah.
you pass that room multiple times and the robots are
Mm-hmm.
kind of like working on it, so you assume that the X parasite kind of
Yep.
like goes into the body and then starts fighting you.
Mm-hmm.
X parasites don't like the cold. So why would it do that? Why would it stop? Why would it stop the planet from allowing it to heat itself? It just seemed kind of contradictory to me.
Is that what they said?
What do you mean? Is that what they said?
They were stopping the heat?
Yeah, that's why the planet was freezing over because the X parasite was physically stopping that generator thing. And to me, why like the X parasite wouldn't do that because we all know that the its weakness is the cold. So why would it try? Why would it actively make the planet colder?
That's a good point.
I don't.
I don't know.
I don't like. Yeah, it didn't make sense to me. Like, why would it do that?
No, Metroids are weak against cold. X parasites aren't weak against cold.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, X parasites are fine with cold. It's the Metroids who are
Maybe.
weak against cold.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Is that okay? And that's why in Metroid Fusion you can't enter the cold rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. That's why SAX uses the ice missiles against you or
No,
ice
you
stuff.
use the ice missiles. You can't absorb the ice beam yet until later.
Okay, you're right. That's clarified. That's about it. The cloak I thought was silly. The double jump was
Well, the
silly.
Emmys the Emmys never lasted long enough to use the cloak. It was like you meet them and then you kill them. So
Okay, can we talk about that for a second? A part of me thought that Phazon was gonna be brought into that because there's no explanation on what the units are. Like they just have this mother brain type aura to them, and like literally they do because in that room they have those like red circles and the line shoots. You're like, dude, this is a tribute to Mother Brain here. And
Mm-hmm.
then it's blue. It's got an eyeball on it. But then you just absorb it. Like they don't even say what that is.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I think they could have done so much. I have so many ideas for this game. One of those at the end, you kill the Emmy, like you use your Metro power and you kill the Emmy. So you don't even go to the Mother Brain core thing.
Yeah,
I think an X should have got to the core, infected it, and it turned into a Mother Brain battle.
that is genius.
And that would have been like another way to tie it into like the space pirate. Like space pirates are not in this at all, and I think they should have been at least a little bit. Like there's no Ridley, no space pirate guys, no Mother Brain. I know they have like Kraid brought back. I guess he was like prisoner on the planet or something. I don't know why,
So random.
but I think like they should have brought Ridley back in some form. He died like a million times, I know, but he's like a classic.
Yeah, yeah.
But if not, like that was a perfect segue to tie in another Mother Brain battle. Like
I
they could have got the X to infect that Mother Brain.
That's a
Another
genius
thing they
idea.
could have done. Ravenbeak was like, "I'm gonna make clones of you and take over the planet because I can now." You could have had evil Samus fight. You could have had like a clone Metroid fight with her like with another evil Metroid suit and fight it like why didn't you do that?
That's a genius idea too.
Like there's so many things they could have done and they just ignored it.
That's
Like I
such a good
don't
idea. Maybe those were in the works, but because of deadlines, they were just like, we gotta send this game.
but they could like that's what I'm saying. Like why you if you make it wait 19 years, at least like make it go with a boom. Like don't like okay, here's 19 years and here's like this it's like a little poop.
Half baked, yeah,
It's like come out the gate like banging.
yeah,
And I don't know if they just don't want to put all their eggs in one basket all ready, but like there's so many things I came up with when I was playing it. Like I thought where it was gonna go, and then it didn't happen. I'm like, okay, well, guess I'm wrong.
yeah. That's a good idea. I don't understand that Raven Beak was basically like, I don't need your DNA anymore. I can make clones of you. I'm like, what? Then what is the point of all this?
Yeah, I guess he got her DNA somehow.
Like,
I don't
what?
know. Like,
I I didn't get that. And then he's like, I let you live so that you could release your Metroid ability. Now, come with me or I kill you. It's like, did you really expect her to join you? Like
I don't know.
you waited for her to get powerful enough to beat you, and expected her to join you, or maybe he needed to. I don't know. Maybe he needed to allow her to get powerful enough, and then somehow, some way, he was able to. I just didn't get that.
Well, he knew that she was injected with the Metro DNA, so he was like, okay, well now you can. Your power needs to be awakened. Like you have the power of Metroids inside of you.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna release that with the Kozo DNA because you can control Metroids with that. Is which is how the Kozo controlled the Metroids before
yeah,
to kill the X's. So he does that, and it's like, okay, well, why aren't you controlling her now? Or maybe she just, I don't know, the whole thing at the end where she's like, ah! And then like, I don't know. I thought that was like weird,
I thought that was weird too.
but yeah, like his plan should have been way more fleshed out,
Yeah, he was.
or or not. Like they should have just not had him said anything. Like they like we don't need to hear like him talking, and he's just evil, and like we just get like the pictures
Yeah,
like like Metroid, like you get a story at the beginning and the end, and that's pretty much how the Metroid story goes usually.
yeah.
But I thought like the part where she talked to Quiet Robe, that was really cool. I was
That
like,
was sick.
dang. I didn't think she could like talk in the Kozo language or whatever.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, that's so cool.
dude. When I heard her voice, I'm like, nice. That's awesome.
But
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about difficulty.
um yeah, I died a lot.
I died a lot too,
but
for sure.
I think it was just like me like just rushing to get the game so I could see what happens next.
I think a certain part of me was like the first half of the game I was kind of just like enjoying it, and then the second half of the game I was like, bro, I just want to beat this. I was like, I want to get to the end, and I just want to see what happens next.
Yeah.
Um, but having said that, I died a lot.
I just
Now,
think the Emmys are like way like they're just cheap and they're not fun.
I
And I think the game is like you die a lot, but it's like it's a baby game to me. Like
yeah.
if you die that much, set me back at my last save point.
See, that's the issue I had because I was sitting here and I'm like, okay, so you die a lot, but what's okay? So this is what's weird about it. It's the first time in a video game where dying has no consequences. Like, and I was thinking about it in Hollow Knight. If you die, you lose all of what's the
Your money or
currency?
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot what the currency is called. But yeah, you lose all your money, and to get it back, you got to go back to where you were and fight
Mm-hmm.
yourself and get it back. So it's like there's no way you want to die. A geo, that's what it's called. So it's like if you have 100, 2,000 geo on you, you're like, dude, I'm not dying here because I don't want to lose this. Because if I die 2,000 geo and then I die before I retrieve the 2,000, then all that is gone. There was no consequence in dying. Like you die and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
and then you move on,
Yeah.
and then you die and you're like, okay, whatever. Like I literally died 6 times at one part, and all you do is just press A, start again, die, press A,
You
start.
start like at the door right before, so
Yeah,
there's no like I don't know if they're just trying to make this installment more like accessible to newcomers because I'm sure this is like a lot of people's first Metroid, which
definitely.
is fine. But like again, like bringing up other games like Hollow Knight. I'm playing Ori in the Blind Forest right now,
Mm-hmm.
and it's another Metroid style game. And you die, you go back, and it sucks. I hate it, but like it's a good consequence for dying. Like you're not supposed to die.
Yeah. Yep. And I think Dark Souls really like implemented that into game DNA. That the difficulty's high, and if you die, you will lose a lot. So you better best get your game face on and avoid dying at all cost. And going into this game, they made you think it was gonna be like that. Like you got these robots after you, you got this planet that wants to kill you. You gotta try your hardest to not die. And honestly, tonight I was gonna try hard mode and play it again and see if that changes anything. But yeah, the fact that there's no consequence to dying is really a shame.
Yeah, I agree. It's too easy
Yeah,
in that sense. I don't know. Like I didn't play too. I played like maybe a couple hours of hard mode, and like now that I know what I'm doing, I haven't died too much.
yeah.
But
But like everything, and I mentioned this to you earlier, everything once kills you so quick, and it takes so long to kill everything. It becomes a chore just to discover, just to
yeah,
like, and later in
I
the
agree.
yeah later in the game, I guess I appreciated it more because now I'm like, okay, I want this challenge and it's fun. But yeah, that was my only gripe with the difficulty.
I'm okay with like things taking a lot of shots to die. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I agree.
No, I'm all for having like hard bosses. Like the last boss, I was like, cool. He's got 3 phases. You gotta memorize his moves. It was a great. All the fights should have been like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the normal everyday guys that you're just trying to go from one room to another, it shouldn't take me 6 missiles to kill one little itty bitty crawler dude. I'm like, no.
Yeah. I mean, the guys on the doors, like the little slug guys,
Yeah, I'm like,
I'm
dude,
like,
I'm sitting here shooting like 6 missiles. Like, dude, just let me through this door.
yeah, those guys are such a pain. But yeah, I thought the last boss was pretty cool. I like his phases.
Yeah,
But again, like I just thought the end where you get that super beam and shot him was so like cheap. I don't know. I hate super beams like that.
Why?
I I don't know. Like it's just like just let me have a regular boss fight. Like it's not fun to just hold the button down and release and boom, you're dead.
Yeah, but I mean, you've already had the boss fight. This is kind of that. This is kind of just that cinematic finisher afterwards.
I guess, but I think like he could have had one more phase after he got infected with the X.
I honestly thought there was going to be one. I was like, oh snap! You're about. This is the final boss. You're about to do. You're about to fight it with the Metroid suit, and this is going to be super epic. But then it was kind of just like a cinematic finisher where you just held it.
I think like at that point he should have fell into the lava and then got absorbed with that X that we saw earlier that goes nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes out of the lava and like is like another form, and then we fight that, and then that's the end. And like since it's in the like the core of the planet, and then that's why the planet's like it made no sense. Why did the planet just started blowing up for no reason?
Such a good point. There's no reason.
And
There's no
it's
reason.
just like, okay, well, I killed this guy. The planet's blowing up now. Why?
Yeah. Why exactly?
Like, I don't understand some of the choices in this game.
Yeah. I was gonna say something I forgot. Yeah, man, totally.
How many
Totally.
planets has like Samus destroyed at this point? Like, does
So many.
every planet need to blow up when she leaves it?
I guess so. I mean, you attribute it to just Metroid Classic. Like, if there wasn't a scene where you're running for your life and it's not a Metroid game,
Yeah,
type
I
of
mean
thing.
that's fair. I mean, okay, so like Metroid One, you go to Zebby's and you blow up the planet, but it doesn't blow up the planet. There's an explosion on the planet. Then you go to SR388 in the second game, destroy the Metroids. There's no explosion at all. Then in the third game, you go back to Zebby's, and then you blow up the planet. And I guess you never go back to SR388. Well, you do in the fourth one at the beginning. Because you fight the or you that's where you meet the X. But then you just go to that like space station
Yeah.
and that blows up in 4.
Yeah.
But I know the Metroid Prime games have explosions and stuff.
Yeah.
What?
Eileen was telling me earlier, she's like, wait, I don't get it. If there were X parasites on ZDR, why didn't they just blow up the planet from the get go? Like, why even investigate any of this? Just blow the planet up and you could have just saved this whole game. Just like missile launch it and do a drive by with the ship.
Well, I guess they wanted to see like if there was any like life there, and that's why they sent the Emmys. And then the Emmys disappeared, and they're like, okay, well, what's going on? And then that's why they sent Samus.
Okay, I just thought of something that I hadn't thought of before. So when Samus speaks for the first time, you see Quiet Robe doing some sort of holographic controller that turns the Emmy off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where did that come from? Who gave this guy authorization? The Emmys were a Galactic Federation thing. Like, where are you getting these?
I think they got hacked by Ravenbeak.
But then Quiet Robe has a hack for the hack for the hack.
I guess. And then like the X Parasite gets him, and then he turns the hack off, but then he's good at the end.
Oh, see, that's the other thing. Exactly. So he turns him like the X Parasite Quiet Robe turns it back on, denies access to the doors that you just got access to. And then at the end, he does a little bow and then says deuces.
I don't get it. Like
I don't get
they
it.
better explain that. Like it makes like Metroid 6 is gonna be like, this guy died, but then he helped me at the end for some reason.
Yeah.
Moving on. I don't know. There's a lot of ups and downs. I think it was an all right game. Underwhelming to me, but I'm excited for what the Metroid Samus turning into a Metroid means for the future of the series
Yeah.
and where the series could go.
Yeah. I think there are a lot of options now, and I think it would be so cool if she had a bounty on her head now, because she's technically the last Metroid, and now she's a Galactic Federation threat, and so nothing personal, but they just have to eliminate her. And
That
so
that actually is a really cool idea for the next
I
game.
think that would be cool. It's like you are
Like
official.
other bounty hunters are after her now.
Right, exactly. Because she is now the threat to the galaxy. And so she's got a
Yeah,
bounty on her head. I think that would be an awesome idea.
I think I agree.
But who
I think
knows?
it's a really cool idea. So we'll see what happens.
Yep,
Metroid Prime Hunters 2.
true. So I think that exhausted all my list. Oh, we didn't talk about graphics. What do you think about the graphics?
The graphics were, yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, nothing too crazy, but you know, I
We
think the backgrounds could have been a little better at some points. Like it was good at some points, but other points I'm like, eh.
Okay. So I got two things I want to talk about. First thing, graphics. I thought the graphics were good. They were obviously like standard for what Switch is now.
Yeah,
You know, colors, the pixels, yada yada. I thought Samus's shoe design was kind of weird. She kind of had this like let me share screen real quick. Or let's do this. So like her shoe used to be like this. Oh, the audience can't see it, but you can see it.
no, they can see it.
Their shoe used to be like this,
Uh huh.
and now in this one it's kind of just like this. Like
Um,
I liked that tongue on the shoe, but it wasn't on the design in this one, and that kind of bothered me.
I never noticed that. I have to go back and look.
Um,
But
so that's number one. So solid graphics, whatever, nothing crazy. I didn't like how zoomed out it was at certain parts, especially when you're on the train. It's like Samus is this big. I'm like, dude, come on.
yeah, I
I
think
know,
it could have been a little zoomed in.
yeah, I know the Switch screen is small, so don't make Samus an ant.
Yeah,
The biggest gripe I have about like setting the atmosphere or the mood is there are so many good Metroid songs, and in this one I'm like
I agree.
I can't hear anything. It's like it,
Yeah, the biggest flaw in this game, hands down, sound music is terrible.
like this.
All the sound effects, you don't. There's no classic Metroid like da na 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 when you get an item like
No, I think there's that. Yeah, there's that.
not. I mean, not. It's not often. Like when you get missile upgrades, it's like, and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, what the heck is that?
Hmm.
There's no like I'm expecting Magmore Caverns or whatever the one from Metroid or Super Metroid is when you go in the lava area.
Yeah,
There's no
Northuria.
good
Yeah,
music in
yeah.
this.
Yep.
All the
100%.
classic songs are gone. Except the only time there was when they was like telling a backstory or something, I heard a classic Metroid song, and that was like it. And I was like, okay,
Like in Super Metroid, it seemed like the music was a forefront, and then the sound effects were kind of in the background. You'd hear like the pew pew pew, but it was
yeah,
it
the
was under.
dun dun
Yeah,
dun 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 dun
exactly.
dun dun dun.
Like that was the forefront, and like it sets the atmosphere for the place. But in
Mm-hmm.
this one, it seems like the sound effects are more prominent than the background. So all you hear is like the animals and the shooting and the. It's like
Yeah,
nah, I'd rather hear the songs the than the sound effects. So
yeah, I agree.
so
And
yeah
I think like there's like this, I don't know, like the same like Super Metroid, how you power bomb the glass area and then like the glass tube like explodes, and they redid that again, and it's like, come on, guys.
mm-hmm. Okay, so game mechanics, real quick. I really, really appreciated having everything laid out for me. It made it so simple, so nice. Like if you zoom in on the map, a single box will be like, this is a screw attack box. This is a what's it called? A speed booster box. It's
Hmm.
like it tells you exactly what's going on, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty nice. The thing I have a problem with the map though, like because it's not little squares for every section, and it's like more of like big sections, it just makes the whole world feel smaller,
Yeah,
and like there's not as much to explore.
I think it makes it more confusing. I'm like, I don't know if I've got everything in this map in this area. It doesn't
Yeah, I
give
guess
you
that's fair too.
it doesn't give you like a perimeter of the whole area. It's like each room has its own perimeter, and then for some reason in this room you have like this little corner of like the next room, and you're like, well, what the heck is that? That little corner there. It's like, what is that room? How do I get there?
Yeah.
There's so many moments like that.
Did you get lost after you got the screw attack or not the screw, the space jump?
Dude, I got
After I got this,
lost so many times.
I got the space jump, and I was like wandering around for like 3 hours, and I was like, where do I go,
Oh,
man?
how long did it take you to beat the game?
Like 10,
What? Really? I think it took
and
me.
like three, four of those are just me wasting like trying to figure out where to go after the space jump.
Yeah, I think it took me 8, and I'd say a good solid hour of that was just like me having the Switch on, just like laying on the table next to
Oh,
me.
that's yeah, me too for some of that. What
Um,
what picture did you get at the end?
I got zero mission.
I think most people get zero mission their first time.
So did you look up what the like the rules are, or how to get better versions of it? Or
It's you just like percentage and time. That's how what it always is. But like, do I have the energy to do that? No.
I don't know if I have the energy to do that either. I will admit I don't think I've ever 100%ed any Metroid game.
I've done fusion, but not like speed runned it.
Yeah,
I think I've done other M too, because that's not too hard.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think I've ever 100.
And I've probably done Samus Returns because that they give you that stupid like thing that goes blue and it like shows everything.
Yeah.
But
She's Ali says at least they're eco-friendly, recycle, reuse. What's that in regards to?
yeah, what are you talking about?
We've been talking about a lot of things.
So there's a fan remake of Metroid 2.
Yeah, didn't it get shut down?
Yeah, but you can still find it out there and play it. Like that's a really good game because they add a lot of like cool mechanics. Like we were talking about earlier in Super Metroid, how you hold the charge beam and turn into a ball and all the bombs.
Nice.
Like they do that stuff. They add a scan. You can't scan, but when you go into a new area, there's a little thing on the screen that says scanning environment, and then it'll be like scanned, and then you can go into your logbook and read about the environment.
That's so sick, dude.
And every time you meet a new Metroid like evolution, it'll scan, and then you can go into the and this is like this is the beta version of the Metroid, and
That's
then you
so
can like
cool.
yeah, it's a really good game.
You said that there was a similar scene from the last Metroid. The recycling.
Oh yeah. I mean, some recycling is fine, but I think the Kraid battle could have been a lot better too.
Yeah, I think so. I
But
hate. I
go
hated
ahead.
the water. I hated the lava. I got the gravity suit and I didn't need to go in any lava. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I didn't go
Yeah,
through. I didn't go. I don't think I ever went through a single lava
there's
thing.
some like if you go, there's upgrades to get, but
I didn't like how
it's not.
long it took for the trains and the teleportation. I'm like, dude, this is taking forever.
It's just like loading times nowadays.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I agree. I mean, you're not gonna get like Super Nintendo loading or Game Boy cartridge loading, but
yeah,
which is, I mean, they probably could do it. It's a cartridge. I don't understand why that needs to.
yeah. I don't. Yeah, I don't get that either. I guess because there's so much data and content on the.
Yeah, so much stuff they have to load up, I guess. But I don't think I have much more to say.
I don't think so either. So I think we talked about everything. I wanted to talk about the story, the end, the mechanics, the items. So I guess a final rating out of 10. What would you give it?
Probably like 7.
Yeah, I was gonna say 7 too.
Not bad, not amazing, but I would say Super is still the best. Fusion after that, and then maybe Dread, if you don't count like Zero Mission and stuff.
What, dude? No way.
What do you what? What's yours?
So I think Super is the top, hands down. Super's
Yeah.
Super. After Super, maybe Fusion, but
Okay.
it's very tied for the Prime series.
I'm not counting the Prime series in this
Oh, why?
because it's like a different genre.
I think again the amount of information given by just the simple mechanism of scanning is so satisfying.
Hmm.
I love scanning, and I think scanning should have been part of this game. Like to know about your environment, like little lures that you could find out. That in
Yeah.
itself is awesome.
I don't think they wanted to do another like other M thing though, where it's like 2D and first person, where you could look around and scan. But
You can scan in 2D.
yeah, that's fair.
It would kind of just be like the seeker missiles. There would just be like little icons that allow you to say to know, hey, look, you can scan this, and then you'll scan it, and it'll be like, look, this looks like this,
Yeah,
and then
that's fair.
it'd go in your logbook. And see, that would be another thing, like the Zelda appendium, to do, try to scan everybody.
Hmm.
Let's talk about one last thing before we go. Replayability. That's a huge thing for me. If I can play a game from start to finish and then at the end of it be like, yeah, okay, I could definitely play that again, then I think that's a good game. Metroid is almost on the verge of that. I don't know if I could quite do it again. I've played Hollow Knight like twice now, and I've enjoyed both of them.
You beat it?
I didn't beat it, but I started it over twice,
Yeah.
and both times it's awesome because like the pin layout, you choose different pins, you choose different,
Hmm.
like there's a bunch, there's enough variety that each playthrough is kind of different, and the Metro series is so linear that it's kind of like you just go through the like autonomously go through the steps again.
Yeah.
So that's that's my opinion on
I guess we just have to wait 19 more years now.
that. Exactly. Hopefully, Metroid Prime 4 has got some good stuff coming for us.
I hope so. I think we're gonna get a Metroid Prime 1 remake first.
Yeah,
But
I am totally down for that.
yeah, I'll probably end up paying $60 for it again, but whatever.
I mean, Metroid Prime 1 is one of my faves.
Legendary.
Yeah. Oh wait, one more thing before we go. I don't like that when you die, the suit comes off.
I don't like how the suit comes off, but I like that the suit comes off.
I don't. I think the suit is her. She is a Metroid. The suit and her are one. That all of them are Metroid. If the suit and her are different, then when she turned into a Metroid, the suit should have broken, and she would her physical body should have been something different. But based on fusion, the suit and her are one. The suit is now kind of supporting her life. So when she
I don't
turned,
think I don't think the suit and her are one. I think the suit is connected to her DNA, which is why the suit changes when her DNA changes in fusion.
I don't know.
But I think she can take off the suit.
It
Like
was
if
like
she can't
a
take off the suit, that's stupid. Like it's a suit for a reason. But I think the suit is connected to her DNA and it evolves with her.
So you think it's kind of like an Incredible Hulk thing, where she just like it just like comes out of her?
I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's some kind of Chozo technology we don't know.
Yeah.
But that's just what makes it interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Thank you for hosting and also being a guest at my stream and your stream.
It's been like hour and a half.
Yeah, I
So
think that's pretty good.
we talked the crap out of this game.
Yeah, this is the my official first game review, but I hope it won't be my last. Next time I want to do a little bit more coordinated with some graphics, but I want to thank you and everybody watching.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we'll call it a night.
All right, dude. Peace out.
All right, thanks, man. We'll see you later.
Have a good one. Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Bye.